Somehow, it took until our fourth visit to Tokyo for us to finally get to the Kirby Cafe Petit. There really is no shortage of cute food in Japan, so kinda makes sense that it took us this long to get here. My main goal was to get the car Kirby cake because I really loved playing it in the Kirby and Forgotten Land game, and mouthful mode is just kind of amazing. Plus, we weren't able to do the dine-in option, so this is the next place to get it. While you're here, you can check out the super cute merch line, but unfortunately I didn't get anything, I just stuck to the desserts. The treats usually run out by the end of the day, and I definitely learned that the hard way, so this time we came here super duper early before our lunch reservation to get an entire box. Our lunch reservation was at Florilege in Azabudai Hills. I've been super excited to come back and eat here because we first came here during our honeymoon and I could not stop thinking about some of the dishes we tried here. I would literally be driving home from work and I would get this sudden craving and I'd be like, what is that? And it would be the daikon radish pie from Florilege. Florilege is a 2 Michelin star restaurant and we love to come here for lunch. It's much more affordable during that time and you still get to try a lot of different things. I figured that the menu would be pretty different, but I was hoping that they would still have the daikon pie. Our first dish was a sweet potato served on a skewer served underneath a bed of tea leaves. It was really fun to kind of forage for our food and the tea leaves gave off a really nice aroma. Our second dish was a peanut bava raw with seaweed. It had a really custardy flavor and I was really surprised to find out that it was made from peanuts. It was served with this little seaweed salad on the side and meant to be eaten together. The seaweed was really citrusy and salty, of course, and paired really well with the custard, both in flavor and texture. This was honestly one of my favorite plates and extremely memorable. The next one is a potato pave served with salmon roe and cod. At first I couldn't really tell what the yellow part was, but it had a meaty texture to it, which I assume was the cod. My favorite part was breaking apart this potato. In between plates, they served us some bread. One was a steam bun made from sake leaves. Sake leaves are a byproduct from sake production. And the other one was a rye bread. Fortunately for me and my cravings, they did still serve the daikon radish pie. Yeah, I definitely had to look up whether daikon was considered a turnip or a radish. Anyway, it's a radish. It's topped with what looks like traditional caviar, but it's actually field caviar, which is made from vegetables. It was served with this little bouquet of watercress, which Alex decided to eat like Littlefoot. For our main protein, we were served venison, and this was actually both Alex and my first time having venison. It came with a side of mushrooms served on mushroom duxelles on a cookie type thing. Both this and the venison were really nice. Lastly, onto the desserts, we had this chestnut dessert. It was very Asian sweet, aka not too sweet. Not my favorite thing personally, but it had an interesting texture. We were also served a type of apple tart with super thinly sliced apples. They were so thin they were basically transparent. And we ended the meal with these very cute Petit four. On the way back to our hotel, we popped over to Kappabashi to pick up a Japanese kitchen knife as a gift for a friend who was taking care of our corgis while we were on this trip. This area is named after this guy, by the way. This is Kappa Kara Taro. Kappabashi is also known as the kitchen town, so it's a great place if you're looking for a Japanese kitchen knife. You'll also find pots and pans, ceramic dishes, lots of restaurant type items. But more importantly, if you are a fan of the fake food displays in front of restaurants that you can see and salivate at like I am, well, they've also got a few stores in the area that sell that too. This location with a giant beetle above it, not sure what that's about, is my favorite.
The egg too?
Everything here is so cute, realistic, and mouth-watering. I wish I had infinite money so that I could buy everything. You know how when people jokingly say, like, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't say anything, but there would be signs? Well, for me, the signs would be my house would be full of all of this stuff. One of these days. Also, I'm really obsessed with tanuki statues. I'm gonna bring one home one day. So for dinner, I had found a sukiyaki place near a hotel in Shinjuku with great reviews on Tabalog. And funny enough, I've tried a lot of things, but for some reason, this was my first time having authentic sukiyaki. This restaurant is called Ibuki. Reservations are highly recommended, but we got lucky as a small group and were able to do a walk-in. Sukiyaki is a hot pot type of meal, except instead of a big pot of broth, everything is simmered in a sukiyaki sauce. Sukiyaki sauce is usually soy sauce, sake, and mirin. My favorite part of eating sukiyaki, though, is dipping all the meat and veggies in a raw egg. And don't worry, raw eggs are very safe and clean to eat in Japan. Not sure how it is in other restaurants, but here the server will help cook your dinner, which includes plenty of veggies and beautiful beef slices cooked in that sukiyaki sauce. I love seeing her oil the pan with that chunk of beef fat. After the veggies are loaded in and grilling nicely on the cast iron, the beef slices go over that, and then the sukiyaki sauce is drizzled over everything. To finish it off, she put the rest of the greens over it. The two of us waited as patiently as we could while we waited for the veggies and the meat to simmer in that sauce. It smelled so good. I wish you could smell it too. And we were so excited to eat it. Little Gojo was very excited to eat too. Once it was all boiling and simmering and getting really caramelized in there, it was finally time to eat. This first bite was truly heaven. It was so good. I really love dipping the meat in the egg. The richness of the egg cuts the saltiness of the beef and it pairs perfectly. After dinner, very normal, my husband was looking for a second dinner and he's been craving izakaya because he loves meat skewers. I wanted to pick the perfect one, but somehow we ended up paying a cover fee to eat here at this sushi restaurant, I think. Sorry, Alex, but the sushi was still really good. Back at the hotel like a little raccoon, I finally got to dig into all of the Kirby desserts. The first treat was the Star Rod Mango Tart. I had to get this one because the Star Rod is such a cute aesthetic and I like mangoes. I love the little pearls on the whipped cream. The second one is the Muteki Candy Banana Tart. This one's supposed to look like the swirl of Kirby's Invincible candy. This one here is the Poo 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 Tiramisu. It's like the name says, it's a tiramisu, except Kirby seems to have gotten trapped in it. But don't worry, I know how to get him out, and it involves a spoon. And of course, the pièce de résistance, the Car Kirby cake, aka Jiggly Boy. Yeah, and so I brought a bunch of my lookup figures on this trip and half of them were Gojo, so they had to get in on this dessert. It was very sad, but I gently took off the Star Rod off the mango tart and I ate that first. The filling had a very fresh mango taste to it and I thought it was really good, especially the cream cheese base. I was super excited to eat this one because this is the prettiest one I think that we brought back to our hotel. If you like banana flavor, then you'll definitely like this one. I know some people think banana flavor is quite polarizing, but I personally really enjoy it. While off camera, I clearly snuck in a few more bites. I gotta be honest with you, I bought this one because it's funny that Kirby's butt is sticking out, and also this mug is a souvenir item, so I was looking forward to taking it home and using it as an espresso mug. Also, remember I said I had a plan on how to get Kirby out of there? Well, it's happening now. I'm excavating him, or around him. As for the taste itself, I actually really enjoyed this. It didn't sound as exciting because it's just tiramisu, but it was really good tiramisu. I was really sad to eat this one because we worked so hard to get it, and it's so freaking cute, but it's food, gotta eat it. So if you're wondering how car Kirby is made in this shape of car Kirby like I was, well, car Kirby is actually made from blancmange, which is basically like a jello. And Kirby is very jello-like, very, very jiggly. So this makes total sense. Perfect alignment. So if there's something to learn about Alex and I as a couple, our values or whatever, is that once we find something we really like to eat, we tend to eat it a lot consecutively, and especially if we know we're not going to be back in Japan for a while. Long story short, we went back and had mochiyaki. But don't worry, if you watch the part 1 of this vlog, we definitely got a different set. We built our own. And so now we will pause for a little bit so that we could watch the beautiful formation of what is called mochiyaki. You might be thinking, Meg, this mochiyaki is not the most attractive thing in the world, but let me tell you, it may not be the prettiest thing, but it is crazy delicious. Also, if you're a spice lover, 100% recommend getting these green chilies on top. They are crazy spicy, but they have great flavor. Conveniently, the mochiyaki place was in Shibuya, so it was perfect for us to stop over at the PARCO mall for the Pokemon Center and the Nintendo store. But first, a quick stop, our first time having goncha boba. Alex is making a face, but this is like one of his favorite boba places now. This Nintendo store is located on one of the top floors at PARCO. I always love looking around in here, it's got all of my favorite stuff. And no matter whenever I've been here, this store is always popping. The merch in the store mainly features all of their most popular franchises like Splatoon, Super Mario, even the Super Mario Holiday Collection was here. They also have Zelda, Pikmin, and of course the most important one, Animal Crossing. At least it's the most important one to me. I love Animal Crossing. I've been playing it since 2001. And now this is me plotting how I can take this Isabelle and Timmy and Tommy home with me. I think this is another one of those. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't say anything, but there would be signs. And oh yeah, there would be giant Toad decals too. I'm always happy when I get to see Nintendo stuff. And clearly, I couldn't leave without buying some things. On the way over to the Pokemon Center, the jump shop had this beautiful Jujutsu Kaisen art. So, fun fact, every Pokemon Center has a different main Pokemon featured in the front, and this one has Mewtwo in the tank and everything. Which is perfect because Mewtwo is Alex's favorite Pokemon. During our visit, they were doing this fun activation called Pokegenic in Shibuya, and Alex and I were super attracted to it because we really, really wanted this art of the Tandy Mouse writing love letters. It's so cute. Our original intent was to go into the store and buy whatever merch they had with this artwork on it, but we quickly found out that the only way to get this artwork on a t-shirt, for example, was to do it in their custom design lab. And like the Nintendo store, the custom design lab at the Pokemon Center was totally poppin'. But we weren't gonna leave without the Tandy Mouse shirts, so we signed up for a wait time to return, and we waited. It took a decent amount of time before we were able to get in and design our own shirt, but the main thing was that the shirt was going to actually take a few hours to print before we could pick it up. The design lab is super cool if you want any custom Pokemon merch because they've got tons of different designs that you can choose from in various different styles. I looked through everything and I still definitely wanted the two Tandy Mouse on my shirt. And because we're that kind of couple, Alex got a design from the same line except it was Snorlax eating donuts. As I mentioned, the shirts were going to take a few hours before they were ready to pick up, but it worked out perfectly because we could go check out the Pokegenic activation throughout the area. The main goal was to find the different Pokemon photo ops that they had planted throughout the Shibuya shopping areas and take a photo with it. And if you take a photo with it and post with the hashtag and you show it to a representative, you'd be able to get a photo card or a sticker. This was really like a scavenger hunt, and I really love scavenger hunts. I had a really great time going around looking for everything. Also, look at that Ditto that couldn't finish transforming. So typical.
Ditto.
This activity was surprisingly challenging and we saw other tourists completing it too. I posted a picture with this guy and got this cute little sticker to match. And you know us, we couldn't pass up walking inside a GiGO, but we didn't really play anything. We're just scoping the plays, checking out the prizes for later. But what I really loved is that they had these little photo cubes that you could take pictures of your plushies and dolls in. It definitely gives me an idea to do something like this with my Kallax shelves from IKEA. And I really love that this means that there's lots of people like me who love bringing their toys everywhere with them and taking little fun adventures. Before going back to the Pokemon Center and picking up the shirts, we wanted to make sure we were first in line to eat at Jiromaru. Jiromaru is a yakiniku restaurant where you stand and eat. It's a super sentimental special place for us because Jiromaru is the first place we ever tried yakiniku, which is Japanese barbecue. They used to have other locations, and we've actually never been to this one before, but every time we've come back, more and more locations have closed, and this is one of the last few that we could find in the area. We're not really sure why. We really love the place and we want it to stick around. You can order meat in a set or order it individually like we do so that we can try every single thing. Everything is displayed in the glass case similar to sushi, except all of the meat names are in Japanese. If you're wondering how we combat that, because I know that we always come back to this place, I actually created a spreadsheet that has all of the meat cut names and translations side by side so that we would have an easier time ordering with the chef. It's something that I'm really proud of, and I learned a lot. So how do we like to eat the beef? Well, I personally like to dip it first in the yakiniku sauce and then put a little bit of wasabi on top. Beef and wasabi go really, really well together, which I learned here actually, and it's not that much different than eating beef with horseradish, which I know is a polarizing food, but I'd say don't kick it till you try it. As always, this is an excellent meal. It was finally time to go back to the Pokemon Center to pick up our custom t-shirts. Each individual shirt was perfectly packaged and slipped into this beautiful drawstring bag. No surprise, packaging game here in Japan is always super strong. Back at the hotel, it was time for my nightly raccooning. This time I was finally eating mochi that I had gotten a couple nights before. I bought this mochi because it looked just like the mochi that Gojo buys in the first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. This type of mochi is called kikufuku, and it's got fruit filling and cream. I'm always going to take any opportunity to recreate an anime moment. Plus, what else am I going to do with all these lookup figures that I brought on this trip? Also, snack time never ends, so we popped down to the McDonald's downstairs and got some hamburgers. Alex got a cheeseburger and I got a chicken sandwich. Speaking of recreating anime moments, I wasn't going to leave Shinjuku this time without dragging my husband and the lookup figures over to this very iconic place. The most important KFC in the world. Yep, it's the KFC that Gojo and Geto broke up in front of. Plus, we were going to take it as an opportunity to eat KFC too, don't worry, but it's actually in a really convenient location. You don't have to venture that far out to get to it. It's actually pretty close by to a big Uniqlo and Shinjuku's memory lane, which I'll get to a little later. Browsing through the menu, there were a couple things that I was pretty interested in trying. Sukuru. So since we were here during the holiday time frame, they were promoting some Christmas specials. Christmas isn't celebrated in Japan the same way it's celebrated in the US, but it is considered the most romantic day of the year, and on this romantic day, they eat KFC. After we ordered, we got our food pretty quickly, and then we took our food upstairs to the dining area. We were able to eat with a view of the busy street. I don't really eat KFC that often, so I don't have much to compare this to, but I definitely like the way this food looked. I know, yes, it is still fast food, but it still was comfy to me. There were a lot of options on the menu and I got a little bit overwhelmed, so I went with a standard chicken sandwich. Figured that you could not go wrong. I think I was half expecting that it would taste really different, but it tasted nice. It was a chicken sandwich, and I was pretty happy with it. What I really loved was this custard pudding pie. It's like the McDonald's apple pie, except with custard pudding in it. And I'm a total sucker for anything with custard, pudding, all that sort of thing. After we were done eating, I made Alex wait outside patiently while I got as many shots as I could of the lookup figures outside of the KFC. And obviously not all of them made it in, but I got some good ones. Before departing, I quickly realized that I'd forgotten my water bottle upstairs and Alex went upstairs to get it. Earlier, I mentioned this very popular tourist attraction called Memory Lane. It's quiet during the day, but it gets really busy at night. It's a very iconic and narrow alleyway that's filled with a bunch of small bars and restaurants. I personally recommend going to some other places for food, but it's a really nice place to get a photo. It's still a really fun place to try at least once at night. When it's really busy, there will be restaurateurs trying to beckon you to come into their stall. And the smell of smoky meat will be filling the air. It'll be quite enticing. I'd realized the day before that there was one more thing I needed to have back in Shibuya, so I dragged Alex back. Important business, I had to go to Shibuya 109 to eat the whipped cream cake in a can. I just love a good old whipped cream and sponge cake. It might sound funny that it comes out of a can, but that's what makes it really cool. The can actually keeps the freshness inside, and also the cakes are delivered every morning. Of course, it also comes out of a vending machine, like so many other fun things here in Japan. If you're looking for this vending machine, it's located by the escalators on one of the basement floors, which has all of the fun and trendy stores in it. Check out all of the cute shops. It's so colorful. Alright, so funny thing, this cake comes in a can, right? So the way to open it would naturally be like opening a soda can by pulling the tab back. I was filming myself trying to open this can and the tab actually popped off. I was kind of in disbelief, so I panicked and I stopped filming. I kind of panicked and I didn't really know what to do. I didn't really want to have to buy another can of cake, so I was thinking of how I could open it. The people working here were so nice because Alex took the can to one of the stalls and the two ladies working there actually looked for a tool and sawed it open for us. I was so grateful to them because I didn't have to buy another cake and I could eat the one that I had, but you can see in the can here all of the jagged edges where they were cutting it. Nonetheless, the cake was totally worth it. The sponge cake was really moist and fluffy and the whipped cream tasted so creamy and fresh. I really don't need anything else in a cake, honestly. Except if there were strawberries, I think I'd like some of those. Sometimes. Our mission here was a success. Since our trip was coming to an end very soon, it only made sense that we went back to GiGO Arcade and we got into the gaming oasis. In particular, the GiGO that we wanted to go to was in Ikebukuro. This Ikebukuro is one of the newer and larger ones, and at the time they were doing this fun raffle thing where you stick your hand in and grab a ticket and see what you win. Although I do my Duolingo lesson every day religiously, I still couldn't read this ticket, so I had to take it to one of the workers to help me out. I learned that we had won 2 free games. We really love playing the UFO catchers ever since we knew that there was actually an actual strategy to it rather than just luck. Also, if you're struggling, you can politely ask one of the employees to help you reposition the toy, or even for some strategic advice. On that day, my goal was to get as many of these haikyuu figures that we could. It took a few tries, but eventually we were able to get it. It might sound kind of crazy, but Alex and I really look forward to going back to Japan and playing these UFO catchers every single time. Sometimes I just want to book a flight to go back to do this.
What do you think? front or back?
I don't know, back probably, like closer to you, maybe?
Like front then?
Closer to you? I don't know. It's okay, whatever you do. I finally got one on camera on the picture.
For our last dinner, we went to get tsukemen at Fuunji. I've only ever had tsukemen that was the cold, acidic kind, which is super delicious, but I was curious about trying the more muddy, rich-looking kind that is served here. This shop, like many other ones here, was super small with bar seating only, and people with larger groups would definitely have trouble sitting together here. And let me tell you, it's so packed that the people are literally queued up right behind your back while you're eating. So yes, when it's almost your turn to dine, you are literally up against the people who are sitting down, and then when you sit down, you get to experience the other end of that. It sounds awkward, and if you're not used to tight spaces, it kind of is, but it's definitely worth it to try their tsukemen here. Look at how fantastic the noodles are. They're so eggy, chewy, and I love the broth so much. The broth was perfect for coating every single bit of the noodles and keeping the sauce on. The broth was served warm too, which was great because it was rainy that night. Also, dad joke incoming. Clearly I didn't enjoy it. Points at empty dishes. This was the morning of our last day there. Like, we were gonna go to the airport in several hours. It happened so that this weekend was the Shinjuku Tori-no-Ichi fair. So we made plans to meet up with some friends who live in Tokyo to check it out. Tori-no-Ichi is an annual traditional festival held at shrines and temples in November over several days. Kumade are sold by vendors throughout. Kumade are ornamental bamboo rakes, and they're served as a really popular good luck charm, especially for businesses, because it's supposed to symbolize raking in wealth and success and all that. Not only is it customary to buy a new one every single year, but you usually bring your old one to be tossed here for burning. For my first one, I picked out this small one. We didn't get much time here, so we had to scuttle out to grab our bags and have lunch before going to the airport. It was kind of hard to pass by all of these food stalls and not get anything on our way out. Of course, we always end our Tokyo trips in the same way that we start, having sushi at the standing sushi place Uogashi Nihonichi. It's very important to Alex that he eats a bunch of ebi mayo and sake mayo before getting on the plane. I think this quantity will definitely hold him over until the next time we come back. As for me, I eat with a little bit more variety, but I like ebi mayo too. I also love that we now have hand rolls in our rotation here. I hope this place never closes. It's a really nice spot for us. Really sentimental, just like Jiromaru, the yakiniku place. Anyway, if you were ever wondering if I was the kind of person to get to the airport right before a flight or 3 hours early, well, I'm the 3 hours early type. Which works out really well if you're flying out of Haneda because there's a lot of things to see and do before the TSA gate. I'm really glad that it's not a really sterile, basic airport because you get to basically experience some last bits of Japan before you get on your flight. It's got everything. It's got gacha machines. If you haven't eaten yet, you can eat at one of the many food stalls here. And they even designed the shopping area to look very historic. If possible, I always love flying out of Haneda. You would also think that once you're at the airport in Japan, you're like, my wallet is marked safe, no more spending money. But here, my wallet was not safe. You would think that airport stores are generally really generic and boring, but the ones here were not. They had toy stores, stationery stores, basically my favorite things, so I ended up spending a bit more money here. I was really surprised at the stuff that I found. I bought more stickers, a blind box, and some other things. Even though this was our 4th visit to Japan, it still definitely wasn't enough. I was already missing it the moment we set foot in our terminal to go home. So until next time, we cherish the memories that we made here and all the fun things that we did, and look forward to the next one. And low-key, like, start planning it. Thanks for watching. If you had fun, don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for what fun thing we do next.